Okay, here is tonight's silly little project. We have the main board, power connector, Wi-Fi card, and antennas and screen of a few years old Dell Chromebook, a 3120/P22T, which has a Celeron, which is an N2840 running at 2.16 gig, 4 gigs RAM, and 16 gigs of eMMC. Boot it up. I've replaced the BIOS with the CBIOS so I can boot my own OS. And I've got Diet Pi on here now, which is just a Linux based on Debian. And even though it's intended for computers like the Raspberry Pi, they do make a PC version, and it's really well suited for this sort of thing because it has tools built in for for doing stuff like this. So I've got it set to on boot. It launches Chromium, and then I have it pull up a web page that has an iframe. So there we have weather. Here we've got radar. I've got it loading every 5 seconds just to make this demo easier. It loads a PSK reporter, spotter. Of course, you got to have a clock and a smoke ping graph. And then it loads PyWare, and this takes more than 5 seconds to load, so you won't actually see it. But that would be a real-time aircraft transponder map. So I don't love this method, even though it's very easy to work with, because effectively what it is just a little bit of JavaScript that generates an iframe, and then I have lists of the various sites feeding into it. And another nice thing too about the way that Diet Pi can be set up is that not only can we have Chromium launch in kiosk mode, but I've got a VNC client. Right, so I can just pop right in and see the screen as it is and make little changes if I need to. Of course, for anything more significant, I'll plug in a USB keyboard. And I can drive it locally, or I can SSH into it as well. So it's sort of silly, something that a Raspberry Pi could do just as well, but we've got a big stack of these Chromebooks laying around the space, and so I thought it would be cool to gut one down to nothing and build a little embedded system, like for kiosky types. And I'll probably build some frame. I'd like to have some way to contain it, but it's kind of neat how it is just bare like this. And for those who are curious, the N2840, I'm pulling the ARC page up right now, is a 4.5 watt chip. So not super worried about heat dissipation on it. But I could slap one of those little teeny tiny Raspberry Pi heatsinks on it. Or what I could also do, this is the underside, the bottom half of the laptop, and underneath the keyboard there's this aluminum plate, and I've started pulling it up. It's all these heat staked little plastic melty bits, but I'll probably pull that up because of the screw holes, and then it has this dimple here that sits on the CPU. I don't need the keyboard or anything, but a little bit better mounting might be acceptable. But there it is.